Hey there. Welcome back to Grimith's Revisit of the Ur-Quan Masters. I'm Grimith, what a surprise. I've had some viewers ask me how I can read the blue on black text. The joke answer is I was trained by 90s web page design and instant messaging programs. The serious answer is twofold. Although my resolution is smaller than what I'm sending you, my view is not filtered through YouTube processing. YouTube processing has caused some works with all the stars in the background, as well as the nebulae, the mist. I've caught it all as I have been scanning each video after editing. Good times. Also, my brain is already used to seeing things poorly. Genetically bad eyesight in childhood years spent reading sneakily by a nightlight did not help. Anyway, enough menu banter. Look at how we've grown. Look at this warp pod here. Let's get on with it. We're in QuasiSpace, and our destination is over yonder. There will be some exciting dialogue with the Arululalile. So strap yourselves in. I will say it is nice to be able to be with you all. The gloom of Tropical Storm Imelda is looming over me right now. Thankfully, due to other inclement weather, such as the Category 4 Hurricane Humberto in the Atlantic, pressures have been placed on Imelda. It's getting shunted away from the coastline. I'm not going to get plowed into. The series should not be interrupted. Hooray!
Ha-ha! Our clever ward has found our nook in time. You are the first brave human. No others have made the trip. This is our home world, Falealarophyli, nestled safe in this true space eddy. This is our home world, Falealarophyli, nestled
Say
safe.
that again.
This is our home world, Falealarophyli, nestled safe in this true space eddy. The portal you passed through.
One more time.
This is our home world, Falealarophyli, nestled safe in this true space eddy. The portal you pass through is a rarity, a natural point of interdimensional fatigue. We use these phenomena to speed our transit through the realities. We are wondering, have you met with the Ungar recently? We entrusted an injured talking pet into their care, and we were curious about its progress.
Alright, I was a little distracted there by Fale ala awful waffle. Fale ala awfulry. Damn, I need to hear it again. If only past Grimith had thought of practicing this. No, this is great. Right, so other interesting bits happen there, like, hey, we entrusted a talking pet into the Umga's care. You got any news about that? So what did happen at the end of the war? You know, the war.
Forgive us if we forget the importance you attach to such events as this. Our context is infinitely broader than yours in scope, both in space and time. Nevertheless, to please you, I shall try to recall. Yes, now I remember. Here is the sequence. The Ur-Quan fleets have moved through your solar system, and you are defeated. Your people make the choice not to fight with and for the Ur-Quan. A shield is cast about your world. Your people are now safe. This makes us happy. The Armada departs your star system and moves toward the remaining Alliance members, ourselves, the Cyrene, the Yehat, and their adopted Shofixti. The Yehat and Shofixti withdraw to Delta Gorno, but they do not permit the Cyrene to follow. We are content with the flow of events and leave the area to return here. From our perspective, this sequence of events ends here.
So if we are to trust this information, the Arululalile saw us get put under a lovely, safe slave shield, and we're like, great, mission accomplished, we can go now. What about the Ur-Quan? What are they up to?
Soon after the Ur-Quan defeated the Yehat and imprisoned the Cyrene and Beetlejuice, their siblings arrived to initiate the doctrinal conflict. This battle continues as we speak.
Alright, bud. Sometimes we've had the voice lines dip lower in volume. The Aralulale here, with the power of orbs, appear to be getting louder. you need to fucking make up your mind. So, Cyrene, by the way, Beetlejuice. You remember what Whiffo said about Beetlejuice? He couldn't quite remember the name of the system, it didn't matter. That's where they are. And the Ur-Quan appear to be fighting their siblings in
Their siblings
doctrinal
too.
conflict. What exactly have you been doing on Earth, before the whole shield thing?
You desire honesty. It is given. We have visited your world for many thousands of years into your species' past. We have changed things, made modifications.
I think it would be best if I killed you now. Well, I'm gonna be passionate about this one, because as it turns out, my crew is filled with people who are from Earth, because everyone from Unzavalt died. They were killed. Switch to passive voice. What did you change in Modified Earth, and why?
Our motives are multiple. Our desires complex. Part of what we do on Earth is for your own protection. There are parasites, creatures who dwell beyond. They have names, but you do not know them. They would like to find you, but they are blind to your presence unless you show yourselves. The Androsynths showed themselves, and something noticed them. There are no more Androsynths now, only Ors.
Yeah, so you take the Aralu at their face. The Aralu are not from the Earthling dimension, and part of their work has been to hide humanity from other entities not of our dimension. The Androsynth appear to have been found, and now they no longer exist, having been replaced by Ors. I'm sure at least one viewer is creeped out by this and also wants you to go on.
No. In a way, ignorance is your armor, your best protection. They cannot see you now. They cannot smell you. Much of our work with your people involved making you invisible, changing your smell. If I tell you more, you will look where you could never look before. And while you are looking, you can and will be seen. You do not want to be seen.
And the Androsynth became seen in some form or fashion. Maybe we'll check them out, and these Ors, because we are completely unqualified for our job. You said you had much to give my people. Can you be more specific?
As you know, we live in a dimension adjacent to hyperspace, which we call QuasiSpace. Our ships move between these dimensions through weaknesses in the interdimensional fabric. Although many such weaknesses, or portals, exist which lead from our dimension, QuasiSpace, to various locations in hyperspace, there is only one naturally occurring portal, which will transport a ship from hyperspace to QuasiSpace. We therefore find it convenient to generate our own portals artificially, with focused dimensional fatigue rays. As a sign of our long-standing relationship with your species, we would happily fit your vessel with a portal spawner of its own. But your ship is so massive, our units would be ineffective. However, we suspect you may find a sufficiently powerful warp pod, the key element in a portal spawner, in the wreck of the Ur-Quan dreadnought on the 7th world at Alpha Babonis. Bring that warp pod back here, and we will prepare a portal spawner for your vessel.
Hear what I said about volume levels, bud? See, there you would subdue, muted. Future Grimith doesn't do that much editing work, man. So, the Arlu-Lalile seem to travel so fast across the galaxy. I believe Hayes makes this observation because they leave hyperspace and go into quasi-space and use that to quickly shuffle around the galaxy. They create artificial IDF and are willing to do that for our vessel if we bring a sufficiently powerful warp pod, which can be found in a wrecked Ur-Quan dreadnought, the 7th world of Alpha Pavonis. It turns out we already paid to win, baby. We got that information. I have obtained the warp pod unit from the Ur-Quan wreck.
What a surprise! As we have always said, humans are our most resourceful and clever species. We are so proud of you, but don't worry that you shall have to wait. We are prepared. Even now, our technical personnel are equipping your ship with a custom version of our portal spawner device. The device is usable only in hyperspace. Whenever it is activated, the spawner will focus several interdimensional fatigue beams adjacent to your vessel, opening a temporary hole into QuasiSpace. Move quickly through the portal. After your ship has passed into QuasiSpace, you can choose any of the nearby portals which lead back to hyperspace, thus saving you needless transit time. Be keenly aware of this fact. The spawner requires a great deal of energy to function. We estimate that each time you use the device, it will consume 10 of your fuel units.
Done. Instantly spawned in. We save on time, but we spend 10 fuel. You mentioned a talking pet. How did you find one?
We are an endlessly curious species, and we spend much of our time on, how should I say, reconnaissance missions.
Like the
During
wreck?
one such trip,
Yeah.
we witnessed the crash landing of an Ur-Quan dreadnought on the surface of Alpha Pavonis 7. Normally, when an Ur-Quan vessel is disabled, it automatically engages self-annihilation circuits to prevent other species from learning the Ur-Quan's technological secrets. In this case, however, these circuits must have failed. The dreadnought did not disintegrate on impact. We landed to explore the wreckage, and were amazed to find a survivor, a talking pet. As you may know, the Ur-Quan use these non-sentient creatures for the task of interspecies translation, a task the Ur-Quan find ultimately demeaning. The talking pet was severely injured, and we did what we could for the poor creature, but it grew clear that without superior measures, the talking pet would die. We turned to the Unga, whom we have known for many centuries. Their bioscience skills are far superior to our own. The Unga promised to do what they could and let us know how the pet fared. We have not heard from the Unga since. Perhaps, if you are traveling through their stores, you could ask them for us.
Motherfucker got even quieter. So, remember the Melnorme said that we might find a thing or two of interest there in the wreckage? One of them was the warp pod, the second of them the Araloo Lalale took. This talking pet, tried to nurse it back to health, and ended up turning it over to the Unga instead, because the Unga are incredibly gifted in bioscience. However, the Araloo have not had a chat with the Unga since. Hey, keep a lookout for us. Goodbye, my Araloo friends.
Goodbye, clever child.
Brought the volume back for the end? Well, we're not. We're not done here just yet. We have some chatting to do. Damn it.
Welcome back to Faleala Rawfully, Captain.
Faleala.
Perhaps in the fullness of
fuck.
time,
Damn it, not
you
again.
want to visit the surface of our world. There are many beauties here, unmatched anywhere. The mountain clouds of thought, the tangible wish, the dark. Unfortunately, you are not yet acclimated. Premature exposure to these would render you numb.
Hey, it's up there now. Faleala Rawfully. Good. Anyway, goodbye.
Goodbye, clever child.
Yeah. Compliment me slower. Back in we go.
Hello. We are pleased to see you again. Have you any numbness yet? Good. It should be too soon for that. Too soon by far.
Note that the whole wanna kill you thing has disappeared now. Much like the ability to threaten the Melnorme vanished.
Goodbye, clever child.
We didn't get to have that interaction, which I believe I showed off in the original series with the Melnorme. No, don't go back in. One more time.
Yes, Captain. What can the Arilu Lalile of Folly Alaropoli do for you this day?
So, I saved myself some time in real life and in-game by hitting up Alpha Pavona 7 first to grab the warp pod, and then bringing it here to the Arilu Lalile of Folly Ala Rafoli. To have that sucker installed, we can come back here and interact with the Arilu, I think with the Unga, once we have a visit with them. But ideally, I will never come back here again.
Goodbye, clever child.
At least not to this world. QuasiSpace, though, is a much different matter. Now, by the way, we didn't spend any fuel here. Only time. So, we have these portals, both alike in dignity and fair Verona, where we lay our scene. Never mind that there are far more than 2 portals. Just work with the tortured metaphor, okay? And each of them lead to somewhere in hyperspace. Now, I think you would be a wise individual to try every single portal to see where it goes, and then load the game before you tried every single portal. Rather, yeah, load the game back too before you did that. That way you save on the fuel and time costs. That'd be a genius move. I'm gonna crack open my notes. You know, my character, the captain, is preternaturally gifted in some things. We're heading for this portal. Because this video, it's been so short, we can have another incredibly lengthy interaction. Why, I don't think I'll do any editing at all? What a time to be alive. That will save me a lot of time. Each video, just imagine it, me spending double that time. Like a 30-minute video, I'm actually spending, you know, an extra 30 minutes parsing through things, and then uploading and filling video descriptions, and then on top of that, I'm also watching all the videos at double speed to ensure that it all flows smooth. Ugh, what a time sink, instead of just banging out some gameplay. Anyway, we're up here now. Yeah, you remember Beta Corvi, right? I definitely remember the location. We also have some other stars around us. I mean, we might as well check them out since we're in the neighborhood. But we don't have to do that now. And again, I mean, Gamma at Corvi is right here. As a treat. What do we have? You know, I hate treats. In retrospect, how about we go to Beta Corvi? Yeah, I'm like, you know, this is so close by. Why don't we just have a, you know, there's gonna be a whole bunch of dialogue, but really we should keep this video snappy, right? If I started checking out planets, then I'd want to start editing things. There's just no need for that. All right, here's Beta Corvi. We are seeking a world with no surface. Among these planets, which one do you think has no surface? Grimith, listen here. I have a lot of science knowledge, and I'm looking at where you're going here. And actually, if you think about it, and they're going to say, shut the fuck up. Shut up.
Hello, visitors. We are the Slylandro. I am content to hover, a Slylandro speaker. Your presence here fills us with excitement. We have gotten so few visitors over these many drawn. We hope you can stay to talk with us for a time.
I am Grimith, captain of the Earth starship Starluck. What the heck are you?
Oh, this is terribly exciting. We will be happy to tell you about ourselves if you would please do the same. You see, we Slylandro have been extremely interested in learning about the galaxy, but our physique makes us incapable of leaving our gas giant home. Therefore, we are totally reliant on our infrequent visitors to keep us informed about events outside this planetary system. And visitors usually only show up every few drawn. We hope that our newly deployed exploration probe fleet will not only gather information for us, but inform other races of our presence here as well.
Listen, I played Conquest Earth, I think it was, the aggravating real-time strategy game that came in a trapezoid box. That I've long since lost that box, but I do very much have the CD and manual. A game, not good, by the way. Art in it, strong, not good video game. But the Jovian aliens are from Jupiter, and they encase their, like, gaseous forms within bodies that are suitable enough to be on Earth, so it's doable. Come on, Silandro. Probes? What probes are you talking about?
You know, it's funny. We hadn't heard from the outside galaxy in a whole Janasa. And then the Melnorme come by and sell us a probe. And just a few hundred locations later, you show up. Oh, the probes? Right. Well, like we said, just a short time ago, a race called the Melnorme stopped by. They said they had acquired some information revealing our existence, and they wanted to study us, if we didn't mind. In fact, the Melnorme said they would pay us for the right to do so. I guess they are biology nuts or something. Anyway, in exchange for our information, they gave us a probe vessel.
Yeah. Tell me about the other races who have visited you over the years.
Years? Oh, you mean drawn. Well, let's see. There was the Melnorme just a few locations back. Then we go all the way back over 3 drawn ago to the Ur-Quan and the other milieu guys. The Yuli and the Draw, I think.
Milieu? What is the milieu and who are the Yuli and the Draw?
Let me remember. That was a long, long time ago. I was only a nymph then. Oh yes, that's it. The sentient milieu was a cooperative association of sentient alien species. The Yuli, the Draw, the Taelo, the Melnorme, the Foz, and the Ur-Quan, who lived across a wide section of the galaxy. They talked with us fairly frequently for almost half a drawn. Then suddenly, the visit stopped, and we haven't heard from them since.
You know, it might just be my 2025 ears and 2025 brain. I do find the voice more aggravating. Were there any other visitors here besides the Melnorme and milieu races?
Yes, there was another race, a highly sophisticated species of shaggy giants who made repeated trips to our world over a period of several drawn. They even installed a broadcasting satellite in orbit around our world, which let us talk with them whenever we wanted. They were called I'm sorry, I can't remember their names. It was a long, long time ago.
It's the whistling. I handle whistling sounds different. Ow! That sounds like the precursors. What else can you tell us about this race?
I wish I knew more of the information you seek, Traveler. But we last saw the Shaggy Ones just over 39 drawn ago, and very little from that era has remained intact in our history chants. Hold on a minute. Let me consult with Associates Joyce Lifting and Solid Plummet. Joyce Lifting, who has a better memory than I, recalls that the Shaggy Ones were described as being worried. They were always hurrying from place to place, seeking knowledge as though they were in a desperate search for some important secret, some answer to a question that they never shared with us. Solid Plummet remembers that the last time the Shaggy Ones visited our world, they came aboard a great circular starship, one even larger than your own. They had discovered their answer and were leaving to go somewhere, and they didn't tell us exactly where somewhere was.
So, in reference for how drawn relate to our Earth years, you can find a more comprehensive explanation of this. You're looking at 200,000 to 300,000 Earth years ago that this happened. Dredging all of this knowledge from their history chants, and also, Isilandro might be live a really, 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 really long time. Almost as if they're life forms is, completely alien to us. Gas giant based. This is extremely important to us. Don't you know anymore?
No, I have told you. One moment. Joyce Lifting transmits. Joyce Lifting has remembered something else, though it does not relate to the Shaggy One's question, answer, or departure destination. What my associate communicates is the description of a set of 10 worlds, unlike all others. The Shaggy Ones either discovered these planets, or, this is garbled, assembled them? We were told the planets were, again this is confusing, organized in some pattern which in some way alluded to the Shaggy One's ultimate fate. One of the worlds was described as orbiting one of a pair of blue stars not far from here. Another of these worlds circled a large white sun. That is all we can remember.
Yeah, we found one of them rainbow worlds. One that the Silandro direct us to. Pardon me, but who exactly are you again?
We are the Slylandro, a race of kind, curious, gas-bag people.
Glad our ship translator is able to handle all this. Sounds interesting. Tell us more.
Certainly, provided you share with us similar information. What would you like to know?
Tell us about your home, this gas giant planet.
Our planet, which we call Source, has no solid surface as yours likely does. Our world is the 500-kilometer band of atmosphere in which we can survive. Below this are the depths, a dark, hostile region, which grows increasingly darker and more hostile the farther one goes. A typical feat of courage for Slylandro juveniles is to sink far enough into the depths so that the juvenile's gas bag is almost ruptured by the pressure. The tissue scars left by the trip last many rotations and are thought to attract comely mates. Above our world is void. When we travel up too far into void, we grow giddy and behave inappropriately.
What can you tell us about your culture?
We have an egalitarian society here. All are equal. Of course, that doesn't stop some people from being stupid fools or jerks. But on a world as huge as Source, where there are no barriers to restrict your travel, if someone is bothering you, you simply go somewhere else. As you might have guessed, we have no physical technology. In our long history, several of our people have tried to work with objects constructing weapons and other tools from the carcasses of dead beasts. But eventually, whatever it was they were building got too heavy and dragged them down to the depths.
We're managing this conversation just fine, though. Maybe it's the satellite that's in orbit. You know, I don't know the answer to that question. What about your history?
Since we possess no technology, we have no permanent way to record the passing of events. Instead, we use the history chants, long songs whose rhythms and patterns help prevent the introduction of error into the record.
We hope.
When the Shaggy Ones first arrived over 41 drons ago, we had no words for aliens or ships, for stars or planets. Our skies are an opaque swirl of colors. We knew nothing of the universe outside Source. The Shaggy Ones taught us most of the new words, and after they departed, we remembered them for the many long drawn, until ships from the sentient milieu arrived.
It's difficult for me to even fathom what life is like for the Slylandro. Or how much, if anything, functions. Again, how are we having this conversation? How do we isolate and pick out these individuals? Not one individual in particular, kind of left with more questions than answers, you know? Tell us about your biology.
Our world, which we call Source, has been home to our species for many thousands of drawn. We evolved from simpler, unimodular beings who thrive in atmospheric convection cells. At first, we were little more than mindless consumers who glided at the edge of wind walls, straining the air for small animalcules. But even then, we were social creatures who invented language so that we could better cooperate when herding food into dense concentrations. There are many hundreds of species here in Source, producers, consumers, hunters, and parasites, but so far, we are the only species here to achieve intelligence.
Do not tell xenobiologists and xenosociologists about this planet. They will attempt to have a field day. Oh my god, I just cannot bring this information with us back to the starbase. Thank you, that's sufficient for now.
My pleasure. Now let's talk about you and your peoples.
Yeah. Yeah, then we definitely do that. Also, looking at how long this video has gone on, I'm not certain why I thought I could fit a little bit of system exploration in. I know the star was super close, but just... yeah. I'm glad I was persuaded to leave. What are those glowy bits inside of you?
Oh my! I forgot. You creatures see in the visual range and can see our... well, we can't see them. What I mean to say is, they are... Well, we use them when the male and the female... Well, look. I'd rather if you didn't ask about them, okay? Especially not in front of Soul and Plummet. She's shy.
I said, what are those glowy things inside of you?
Great. Now you've done it. Just look at Soul and Plummet. You've embarrassed her so badly that she can't even regulate her ballast.
Look, I'm sorry I asked about your glowy bits.
That's okay. Actually, your explicit questions have put Soul and Plummet in an unusual and intriguing mood. I will explore this change more fully when this conversation is over.
Yeah, so I don't want a glowy bit block you. Exactly how long is a drawn?
The drawn is our primary unit of time. It lasts for an interval equivalent to 4 million rotations of our planet. A drawn is subdivided into 2,000 dranasa. Now please, our turn. Will you tell us about yourselves?
There we go. Most of us come from a large rocky world called Earth. Captain looks up. Everyone else on this ship is from Earth. He's the only survivor from Wintervolt.
Yes, that seems to be the pattern. Just about everyone who comes by here says they developed on a world a lot like that. As far as we know, we're the only sentient species who's ever evolved in the atmosphere of a gas giant. Of course, from what we know, most travelers like yourselves don't have much interest in gas giants. So maybe there are others like us, Thylandro, out there somewhere.
I've been looking. Believe me, I have been looking. We travel the galaxy in starships, seeking knowledge and contact with other sentients, and definitely not the dog-barking whistle music conversation.
That must be great, to leave your planet and roam the stars. You don't know how monotonous living on a gas giant for 3 or 4 drawn can be. Clouds, clouds, clouds. Wind, lightning, clouds, clouds, clouds. That's it. We know a lot about clouds. If you've got any cloud questions, ask us. We have over 800 different symbolic references just to describe them. Most of the time, when we aren't eating, we hover around and talk about what the clouds look like. Of course, the only things we know about are clouds, food, and other Slylandro. So generally, that's what we think the clouds look like.
Our primary objective right now is to free ourselves from the evil Ur-Quan.
The Ur-Quan? The long brownish guys from the milieu with all the eyes and arms? They used to come visit us regularly about 3 drawns ago. They told us about all the interesting things they found from their scouting missions. They were really nice. Why do you fight with them?
I think you are confused. Those aren't the Ur-Quan we're talking about. Ours are green.
But the Ur-Quan were such good guys. They had lots of interesting things to tell us about, and they never got impatient with our questions. Well, I guess a lot can happen to a species in 3 drawn, like turning green and evil.
We are particularly interested in studying unusual planets and life forms.
Oh, then you should go check out a planet orbiting a blue star not too far from here. I think there is another blue star right next to it. We can't describe exactly where it is, but the people who told us about it, the Ur-Quan I think, said that it was one of the rarest worlds in space, and that as far as they knew, there were only 10 of these planets in this part of the galaxy.
Another bit about Rainbow Worlds. That's enough about us for now.
Okay, but please, can we talk about you some more later?
Maybe. We have an entire separate dialogue chain to go through. Can you give me details about your probes?
Sure, if you are interested. In exchange for information about the life on Source, the Melnorme offered to give us a remote exploration probe. It would roam the galaxy gathering information and contacting alien races, and when it had filled its data storage units, it would return here and reveal to us everything it had learned.
Yeah. It's great. Where exactly did you say you got your probe from?
From the Melnorme Traveler Traders. It was catalog item 2418, Remote Self-Replicating Robot Explorer Probe, the economy model.
Yeah. Why'd the Melnorme sell it to you?
The Melnorme traded it to us for data on the life on Source. They said the information was unique and was worth, I don't really understand their units of exchange. Something like 10,000 Credots or something like that. Fortunately, that was exactly the price of their catalog item 2418, Remote Self-Replicating Robot Explorer Probe.
I presume the Slylandro have been given some means to interface and interact with this technology, that they could use it. Contradicting what we were told earlier, these motherfuckers appear to be simple and forthright, but they're scheming, deceptive. Yes. Well, anyway, how long ago did you get the probe?
2 or 300 rotations, I guess.
Okay. What was the probe's program?
It was sent on a 500 rotation mission to seek out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no catalog item 2418, Remote Self-Replicating Robot Explorer Probe, had gone before.
Can you explain the probe's replication ability?
Well, we're not hardware people, so we only know the theory. What happens is that while the probe is exploring space, whenever it's not doing something more important, it hunts for asteroids and similar space junk, zaps it into its component parts, absorbs the debris, and when it has enough raw materials stored inside, it manufactures a perfect replica of itself. So even though we only bought one probe, by now there should be hundreds of probes, maybe even thousands.
And as it turns out, the longer time progresses, the higher your likelihood of encountering those probes in hyperspace and in real space. Now, if we had not fought any probes, we wouldn't have this dialogue option. I don't believe interacting with the Melnorme would give this to you, but I know for certain you do not have this option without encountering any of them. You can flee from the combat, but having that encounter is mandatory. Well, hey, we've chatted a whole lot about these things. I got some sense of how they'll work, but nothing of the information you gave reveals to us why your probes attack our ships.
Our probes do not attack. They have only defensive capabilities. Offensive behavior is not part of the instructions we programmed into the probe. To do so would be reprehensible.
Can we talk a little more about that?
Sure. What would you like to know?
Would you explain the general outline of the probe's program?
Sure. It was a difficult task for us, since we'd never done anything like that before. But for the most part, we just adjusted its standard program, which went something like scan for targets as defined in target list. If no current target, then select new target from the current targets list using specified priorities. If current position is at current target, then set current behavior to new behavior based on behavior priority settings. Perform current behavior. Okay, that's the basic program. I said it was simple, and here are the tables used by the program. Target list with associated target priority. Space vessel 5. Transmission source 4. Astronomical anomaly 3. Planet bearing life signature 2. Raw replication materials. 1. Probe behaviors with assigned priorities. Communicate. 5. Record data. 4. Analyze data. 3. Seek replication materials. 999. Move to current target. 1. That's it.
You mentioned the probe's defensive capabilities. Elaborate.
That behavior was hard-coded by the Melnorme. We couldn't mess with it. Essentially, the probe will only fire its weapons if it has been attacked and cannot communicate with the attacker.
And when defending itself, it uses its lightning weapon?
No. The probe is armed with a battery of missiles. It doesn't use its electrical discharge device in combat.
What missile batteries? It always attacked us with lightning bolts!
That's impossible. It's inconceivable. The electrical discharge device is used only for breaking down raw replication materials into their component compounds for easy gathering.
Would you tell me about the replication behavior?
I'd be glad to. You see, the probe has the capability to seek out raw materials, process the raw materials into component compounds, collect the compounds, and then, when it has a sufficient supply, it can build a duplicate of itself. We decided that since we had only one probe, we should change the replication priority and crank it up so that there would be more probes sooner.
What priority did you assign to replication? 999? Is that right?
Well, the factory setting was 2, in between movement at 1 and analyze data at 3. I told Joyce Lifting to set it a bit higher. Let me ask him what he set it to. Oh, my. That was a bit extreme, wasn't it? Joyce Lifting told me he changed it to 999, the highest setting on the dial.
They also made the Slylandro have some short-term memory retention problems. What is the effect of the priority settings on behavior?
I'm pretty sure the way it works is that every time a behavior is completed or interrupted, the program selects a new behavior based on the defined behavior target priorities and what kind of target is currently selected. I think a really high priority would cause a probe to focus its attention on that behavior.
Your probe does destroy ships, and I can prove it.
No, it cannot. It is not programmed for hostile behavior. What is your reasoning?
Think about a probe's replication behavior.
The probe seeks raw materials and processes them in preparation for replication.
Think about the effect of changing the replication behavior's priority.
The answer is simple. It would spend more of its time seeking raw materials for its replication process. So what?
Think about what a probe does when it beats a ship.
Spaceships are the probe's highest priority because we want more than anything to make friendly contact with alien races.
Now, what will it do to a ship, given that its replication priority is set to maximum?
I don't see what you are getting at, but I'll play along with you. Like I said, alien ships are the top priority target. Once a probe scanned a ship, it would instantly move toward it. Then, when it got to the ship, it would initiate communication automatically. When communications were terminated, a new behavior would be selected and... a new behavior would be selected. And since the replication setting was set to maximum, the probe wouldn't get time to pick a new target. It would use the current target, the ship, for raw replication materials. It would process the ship, break it into component compounds with electrical discharges. Oh no! What have we done? Traveler, you must tell us what we can do! How can we stop the probes from destroying all life in the galaxy?
I want you to know that the Melnorme sold this, and when they told us about this information in current events, tried to absolve themselves of all fucking responsibility for this. Like, oh, I mean, we can't possibly interfere in this situation. Skill issue. Well, to begin with, if I were you, I'd sue the Melnorme.
Sorry, the Melnorme made us agree to a formal waiver of damages in case something like this happened.
Could you broadcast some kind of recall signal?
No, not catalog item 2418, remote self-replicating robot explorer probe. The model with the recall transmitter was catalog item 2419, and the Melnorme said it was out of stock.
Well, I'm not volunteering to hunt them all down and destroy them, because that sounds like an infinite problem. I suppose you have some kind of mega self-destruct code or something.
Why, yes, there is. You're a genius, Traveler. Why didn't we remember that? Oh, there's a problem, though. How are we going to transmit the code? Well, while we ponder that problem, at least we can give you the code sequence. That way, if you run into a probe, you can destroy it without getting shot at.
But Grimith, I hear you say. How could the Melnorme know this code sequence? Surely the Slylandro put it in themselves, and so it is unique. Really? That's your line of reasoning for these fucking gas bags who don't know shit about technology? That's what you're coming at me with? The Melnorme couldn't solve this fucking problem? No. They want to use it to exploit it and create more galactic opportunities for themselves. But they're just trying to make you rich. You get more resource units. Like, yeah, but I can't use those resource units with the Melnorme. I'll use Interstar credits or whatever. Goodbye, Slylander gasbags.
Goodbye, human fluid sack.
What the hell was I thinking that I could do any amount of system exploration in this video? Given... yeah.
Ah, human traveler, we have news. One of our probes finally returned home, and we have been able to reconfigure it so that it will seek other probes and broadcast the destruct code sequence. We expect the population of probes will decline swiftly. Thank you so much for showing us our error. We feel very badly about the inconvenience it has caused others.
Wait, that happened immediately? I thought there was supposed to be like a cooldown timer for that. Like a clock is supposed to start. Well, if we run any probes, we can use the self-destruct code. We should get the resource units from it. I think, though, if my fragmented memory is correct, we'll eventually reach a point where there are no more probes left. Instead of, well, more probes. So there's that. Had the Melnorme not told us about the Slylandra's locations, had we not gotten any clue from the Aralu, we could have gotten other clues. One would have been through a dialogue tree with the probes themselves, which would have used some coordinates we'd have to, I think, invert to get back to here, based on the probe's current location. And then the Zarkfon pick also direct in this direction.
Goodbye, human fluid sack.
Well, let's run it back one more time.
You return with great speed. In the last 5 drawn, we have had only 1 visitor, and now you have come twice in but a single drawn also. How wonderful!
3 times. 3 times.
Certainly, provided you share with us similar information. What would you like to know?
These are still the same, right? Yeah.
My pleasure. Now let's talk about you and your peoples.
Short-term memory problems. Anyway, there's a Slylandro.
Goodbye, human fluid sack.
What a video this has been. The Arlu Lalele, the Slylandro, and that quick vision of probes, well, a probe that I saw, that if I had not encountered one, I would have gone to encounter. Not just to show it off for the series, but also so I would have this dialogue chain open to get the self-destruct code. Essential. Crucial. Well, a lovely time. Future Grimith is going to enjoy not editing this sumbitch. I'm out of here. Talk to you all later.